Hello friends and everyone, welcome back to Netcode-Hub channel. This video is still going to be another lesson as well, and we're going to talk about how to create blog. So a blog is just a simple website that displays information to users. It could be news, it could be updates, it could be anything at all concerning technology, event, lifestyle, programming aspect, next, and everything as well. You can create a blog to display that to user. Example is what you see on the screen. This is just a simple blog, but you can add more features to this, and I'm going to give you the concept. Then you can build on the concept and try to add more features to it. So simple one, you see we have the title right here, and we have these are the date, first publication. You can see we have source, and that's information. We have an image, and that is it. So you can see with blog is an image and information. That's all. Image and text, isn't it? That all comes together to make the blog. Now this blog, you see we have 2 pages, so you can add pages as well. That's pagination. Total number of blog text or blog news that we have here, it is 2. Now this is the second one, and that is the first one here. So this is the first one. Okay, we also have tags. So this tag can just actually choose a tag here, and these tags are located or tagged to the blog. So if I want to view all tags related to information, I click on that, and you can see I can still go back to the information and read. So I can still go back there. Now aside from that, when you check down here, you can see we have the latest news. So far we have only 2 added. So that's what we see over here, the latest news. And as soon as I click on it, it opens so that for me to read. And also I click on this, and it opens it for me to read. Very simple. We have this the footer, and here you can subscribe to a newsletter, and that is the simple information that you want to display to user. Okay, we have a search bar. Now this search bar, we use a Blazor type ahead, and as soon as I type in WC, as soon as I type in this, let's see, if I type in what, you can see I have what is Blazor, and if I decide to pass in the next one, I'm going to have that as well. So let's see, so what is Blazor, and you're going to open that. The next one is top 5, so you can just pass in top. Let's see, so top 5, you can see it has popped up. As soon as I click on it, top 5 has been opened here. Okay, so this is very simple thing that we want to do for our blog. And as you can see, I click on home, and you're at the home tab. You can click on add news blog. You can just manage your blog. These are the categories that we have: education, health, technology, and lifestyle. For now, education, we have this under education, and this health, nothing over there. And let's see, for technology, we have this, and lifestyle, we have this. So you can see that from here you can actually navigate or search the blogs according to the categories over here. So when you have the concept, it is very easy to implement them. Okay, so that's the concept. That's what we're going to talk about in this video. Now when you go to manage blog, you see this is a manage blog, and these are the various blogs that you have over here. So you can just edit it, you can just view this, or you can just update this. And here we're going to add the picture of the blog as well. So that is this one. Now if I click on delete, it asks me, you want to delete. If I click on OK, it's going to delete that. If I click on view, I'm going to view the blog, and that's as you can over here, you will see the blog is now open, and I can now view it. Now when it gets to update, I can update it over here. So as soon as I click on this or that, I can go to the update. So let's see, if I click on this, it's going to navigate me to the update, and now here you can see I have, it is going to load the whole blog from the database. When it gets, it's going to update it over here, so I can see it's over here. So you can actually edit it as well, and as soon as I'm done, I can click on update. These are the tags, and that's the news source. Is it public? So the categories over here, you can choose a category, you can choose an image for the title, and aside from that, you update it. Very simple. Aside from that, when you go to manage blog, you can go to add news blog, and if I click on add news blog, you can see we have a text editor here, and this editor, you can have all the various ones. You can even insert image, link, okay, you a paragraph and everything. So that's the way. If you know how to use Word, that's a word processing software, it is the same thing applies to this. So you can add title over here, and you can just do anything, passing your text. You choose your tags which are related to the particular information that you want to give. You can select your categories, then you can select your writer who is writing this news, then you can add title, image, and you are good to go. So in this video, that's what you're going to have a look at. So how to do this. This you could see is just a simple thing, okay? But here I'm not sure I'm going to give everything. We're going to just talk about the concepts, so you can actually get a concept and try to build on the concept that we have learned. So let's start, and we're going to use a Blazor WebAssembly. So this is a Blazor WebAssembly project, and that's what we're going to use to build our blog. Okay, so that is for this, and the next video we are going to talk about how to create a project, how to start everything from that. This is just an introduction for you to know what you're going to do. Next video we're going to start with creating a WebAssembly project, installing our packages, and etc. Yeah, but take note, in this project you can see all the features that you see. We are going to allow SyncFusion component to assist us. So we're going to be using SyncFusion component. The reason why I chose that is it's very easy to implement, and actually good enough. Example is what you see this, the news blog, this text editor provided by SyncFusion. So it's very easy, and as you can see, interesting as well to use that. So let's meet the next video, and we're going to talk about how to start building this blog site. Hello guys, welcome back to lesson 2. In this lesson, we are going to talk about how to create a Blazor WebAssembly core hosted project. Now, as I said earlier on, this video is going to be a scratch. I'm going to start from scratch, so step by step. So I won't mix or you'll miss anything else, okay? So I want us to get it from the initial stage to the finishing stage. Yeah. And after this video, I'm going to make also a short one, and that's going to be a quick review of this video, and I'm going to post it as well, and I'll leave the link at the description here. So that video is going to be about the point of this video. So the point. Okay, I'm going to summarize this, and actually it is for those who have basic knowledge in Blazor. If you can't watch the whole length of this video, I think the quick review video will help you a lot, because it is a quick summary, and that one is going to take much time, just a simple one or small time for that. Okay, so you can just watch that, and or you can watch this. If you want to have everything from scratch to finish, watch this. If you want to have the full idea or the whole concept in a short possible time, watch the quick review version. Let's start. Now we are going to create a Blazor WebAssembly core hosted project. Launch of Visual Studio 2022. As I record this video, the current version of this, it is 7.0. .NET Framework 7.0 2022, by in the year of 2023. Let's create a new project. So create a new project, and that's going to be a Blazor WebAssembly. So I'll go for Blazor WebAssembly over here. Okay, we have the template one, we have an empty project, and we have this. We don't want to start from empty project. Actually, we want to build from what we have there already. This, we go to next. Then let's give it a name, demo blog, and I'm going to make it for YouTube. So demo blog for YouTube, that's going to be the name for my project, and that's going to be the solution, and that's the location that I want to save it. Click on next. Framework is 7.0, as I said earlier on, and now we're going to go for core hosted. So click on create, and the authentication here we set it to none. This is just a simple block. We don't want any authentication, no login, no registration, no login. So this is just a general, it displays information to user, that's not to people. So no signing in and etc. No. Let's see. But you see, you can add those features to it. Maybe if you want to have a portal in your blog whereby you can display, you can allow people to post as well. You can have accounts in there, and that's going to be the authentication. And I have done a video on authentication in Blazor WebAssembly, so you can just watch that video and implement it here. So you can actually have this feature enabled in your blog to make it a complex. Okay, for now you want to just create a simple one for those who have the basic knowledge and those who have much knowledge. This is a simple one. So when you have the concept, you can now build upon the concept or the idea that you have gotten from watching this video. Okay, now our project is now created. Bear in mind that we choose what that is a templated one. So when you build this, we're going to have a template for this. Let's see. Let's click on this to run. So let's run this and see the output of this templated project. So let's wait while it builds it. So after this, I think we are going to install some components or some NuGet packages, and that is what we're going to use first in our project. Okay, so let's try that and see. Let's first build this project. Now you can see we have errors here. Let's see. Oh, okay, so let's check. Let me check my internet connection. I must be connected to internet first, so let me check it and get back so we move on. Alright, so let's build it. I'm on the internet now. Yeah, I'm connected now. So let's build it again and let's see. So I'm going to run this again and let's see. So it is restoring the NuGet packages, the default ones. Let's wait and see. Alright, so it is done now and that's been restored. Our port here is 7251. That's our port, and this is our project, so it is now loading. Okay, so that is it. We have now created our project and we are done. So this video, I want to make it lessons, short ones. Okay, so you won't be tired in watching the lessons. So yeah, in this I said we're going to create a co-hosted project and we are done with it. We've run it and it is successfully executed. That is it for this video. Let's go for break, and when we return we're going to move on to with our project. We're going to install some packages, and that is Syncfusion and other packages to enable us to work with this. Okay, but before that, when you go to the project Solution Explorer, we're going to talk about this, what we have here. We're going to talk about them after this break. Yeah, thank you guys, catch you very soon. Hello guys, welcome back again to the channel. This is a lesson 3. We're going to install some packages that we're going to be using in the whole project. That's our block. So first of all, let's install the Syncfusion component to the client project. Right click on the dependencies in the client project and now come to the browse. So there is a server and that is a client here. Now the browse type, we're going to install Syncfusion.Blazor. Then you're going to need dot. Can you use rich text editor? You can have a rich text editor. Okay, so let's install this. Now let's install. So we wait while the package is now installing. After that, we're going to install themes, we're going to install buttons, and etc. Okay, so accept it. Alright, so it is done now, and now let's install themes. So after installing themes, we have to install buttons as well. SimFusion has a nice UI, and they're also easy to use and easy to implement as well. So aside from installing themes, let's install notifications. So install this. Yeah, so it is done now. And let's see if we can install buttons too. Let's install buttons. Okay, so let's go to the server project, and I go to the Solution Explorer. I click on the dependencies under the server, and now here let's install Entity Framework Core, since we're going to be using database. Now this database we want to use, let's install this. We want to use SQLite. You know, blog a simple website, so we don't need any huge database. We need a simple one, and you know SQLite is designed for those purposes. So we install SQLite. Now let's install MySQL. That's the Entity Framework Core, and Entity Framework Core we need tools. So let's install tools as well. So we need to install tools. Now when we are done, we need to install SQLite. That is what we're going to use for our database. So it is executing. Now it is done. Now SQLite, we need to install SQLite. So this, let's install, accept it. Okay, so it is also done. So that is now. When you go to dependencies for the server project, open that, expand the node, go to packages. Now you see we have all the packages that we have installed here. We have Entity Framework Core, we have tools, we have SQLite. That is what we need. When we go to the same dependencies for the client project, open, expand the packages, and you can see we have the SimFusion buttons, notification, rich text editor, and themes. These are things that we also need here. Okay, we close it. Now I said earlier that we're going to talk about what you see here at the sidebar or the Solution Explorer. Let me close all these. Since you are done, let's close all tabs. Now when you come here, you can see we have 3 separate projects. The first one is the solution, is a combination of all projects. Second one here, as you can see, we have the client, server, and shared. Client here, it is a page for a client when they access their website. Server process everything to the client, and the shared contains all the objects that are going to be used by both client and the server. So if you want to have any class or any method that want to be used, both the client and the shared, the client and the server, then you put it under the shared project. Shared project is a class library, so you can add a lot of objects to it. Then these objects can be used both by the client and the server. The server contains a lot here. What you actually want to focus here most is the controller. Okay, we're going to create our other folders known as the repositories and our data folder, which contains our connections. When we start doing that, you really understand, you come to understand what the controller means, or what the work that's going to do. The server too contains exactly the same thing, because you have a static file, that's the www root folder. That's where you need to install our packages here. But one thing left here is we have to install Bootstrap to enable us to finish our project. Okay, so Bootstrap is a nice one, and that's what we're going to use for our UIs, because although we have installed Syncfusion, but I'm still going to need a Bootstrap. When you create a new project, Bootstrap has been added already, but if you want to add some features here with the Bootstrap component, then you have to update that Bootstrap, because the old one there, at times it has some flops in it. Okay, so let's install the new one. The current one is a 5.4 or so let's try that and see. So let's say right click on the www root folder, and I'm going to add, then we're going for client side library, and here we pass in Bootstrap. So let's wait. Let's see, Bootstrap. Yeah, oh, that's a Bootstrap. The current version is 5.2.3. Include all files, install them here. So click on install, and when you check, you can see it is ready now, being installed. Very simple one, and everything is intact now here. Yeah, that is it, because your operation is completed. So we are done. So these are the packages that we need for application or our blog project to work. Our next video, we're going to start with initializing this component, creating our pages. Now I want us to create our page first, then we're going to talk about creating our controller, okay, working our server project. We're going to talk about that in the next video. So thank you guys for watching. It's very simple and short ones for these lessons, and actually they're actually good enough to help you. Thank you, and I'm going to catch you the next lesson, that is lesson 4. Alright guys, welcome back to lesson 4. Now this lesson, I want us to start with creating our models first. Now let's create a news or blog model. Okay, so we're going to do that in the shared project, because you know with the model you want to be used in that, you want to use the blog model in the client project and the same time the server project. So it's preferably you have to put it inside the shared project. Now let's go to our shared project. You can see when you create it, you have a default one, that's the weather forecast. We're going to create a folder and we're going to name it as model. So click on this and add new folder. Now with this folder, it's going to be as models. Now with this model, let's make it as news, because it's going to be a news. So let's add a class, and this class is going to be news. So news model. So let's pass in news. That's all. Now let's add. Now you know I have the news here open already. Let's see what we can do. Now this is what you want with the news. Let's copy this. Okay, so let's paste this here. Now here going to be public, because you want to access this model everywhere. So let's make this as public. So news is going to have an ID, and that's going to be used as a primary key, and also we're going to have a title, and there's a publication that you want to public. Okay, you want to make it as public to people. Now there's a date created, and it is public, so you can actually add this. If it is public, you want to set it open to people, but if it is not, you can just hide that. And there's going to be a source where maybe you're getting a message from or your news from. You can add it. And there's a URL. So this URL is going to be a link whereby user can click on this to get access to a particular news in a search button or in the display list of the title pages. we have a title image. If you want to add an image, you can actually add that in the title image. Aside from that, the next thing you can actually do here is by creating a relationship. Okay, so for this, you want to hold on here. Let's first create this, and the relationship will start creating a relationship when we get there. So for now, let's maintain this. Now we have this here. Let's go to client project. Let's create a component. So we open our client project. Now in our pages folder, so this is our page folder. Where is our pages folder? Is over here. So right click, let's go to this, or even here we have counter. Okay, so this counter, we can actually change this counter. We can use this counter as another page here. So let's change this as add block. So let's see, this is gonna be, let's make this as block. So this is blog, and this blog is going to hold both add and update. Okay, so if you want to update, if you want to add, we're going to use one component to handle that. So you make here as blog. So that is a page URL. Okay, now let's clear all that we have here. Let's save this. Now, in order for us to use the Syncfusion component that we installed, we have to register that, and here we need a license key. You know, Syncfusion, you can actually claim a free license. So you can just go to Syncfusion website, register an account, and get a free license key. That's a community license. I have done that, so I have one license key there already. Now let's go in there. So Solution Explorer, you go to this client project, and under that you go to the program.cs file, and let's see. So you're going to make it at using Syncfusion. Let's see if you're going to pop up here. Use Syncfusion dot Blazor. Okay, now here let's add builder.services dot add Syncfusion Blazor. Okay, so we need this. So I'll paste the license over here, and I'll paste this. So that's the license, Syncfusion.license.Syncfusion license provider.register license. So this is the license. Now this is a free license. Okay, free community license. So you can get this from the Syncfusion website. So go in there, register, and now get the license here. If you're not having a license, the component when we are using is going to be difficult for us to use, because you're going to have a notification on top of our page, and we want to skip that. Okay, we don't want to have that in our page. That's why we need to add the license. Okay, so now we are good. Now we are done with this. It means we are good to go. We can now save this, and we go back to the blog. Okay, so in here, you know, I have a page where I can just grab them. You see the previous one that I did, that is over here. So we can start from scratch, and we can now start with it. Now the first thing that you want to do here is quite simple. So let's go to our page here, and now let's start with our div, and that's our class. So this class is going to be row. Now with this row, this is what you want to do. So with the row, let's have our div, and now the class we set as CRUD. So before this, let's try to have our column. So we have our div class, and that is a column. You can set MD. Let's make it 12 for now. MD 12, and now you can have our card. Okay, so this is our card header. So we have our class. So that's our card header. and we're going to say add block. Then we come to the body, so div class, and this is CRUD body. Okay, so this is a CRUD, but that's where we're going to pass everything else in it. So we save this, and here the first thing that we want to add is the title. So let's see, let's try to grab it here. So we have the title here, and you know we have to get an edit form first, so let me just copy this. That's an edit form. Okay, so we need this, and you can now close this edit form component. Control K and D. You can arrange this well. So we have our edit form open and close. Now this is our model. So in order to make this work, let's create our code. And now we need our news. Then you can say model. So model is equal to new news. Yeah. Control plus period. Let's include the library. So with this library, we can actually just copy this. We can cut this. We go to the import.razor. Now let's add this for external use. Let's save this. Let's go back, and it is now done. Now this is a handle add. So let's say let's make it as handle operation, because it is not only for addition or adding of components. So let's say this is private async task, and that is handle. Now you open this. Yeah, so this is done. Control K and D to arrange this well. Okay, so now the next thing that we need to do here is we need to now create a component or our divisions. Now the first one is the title. So this is what we need for the title. We need just a text editor. Now we can copy this for the text editor. Now we paste this here for our title. You can see we need a model.title, because we want to check our model. That's a news model. We have title. That's what we are using. We are implementing here. So that's our title, and this is a validation message to validate it and check if it is empty. Okay, so that's a title here. Okay. Now the next thing that we can do is, but for now, in order to enable that, we can actually set required attribute here. So let's set required, and those that you want to make it required, you can actually add them. So publication is required, date created is defaultly set. This also set defaultly. Source is and you are going to set it. Now image, you can decide to leave it as there or not. Okay, but let's make that required as well. Okay, so you have these three requirements, and they are required in order for this process to be done. Now we go back to our blog.razor. Now we have our models here, and that's our first thing is the title. So block title. Then we can now save this. Now the next thing that we need is what? We need our publication. So let's get a publication. Now in our publication, that's where we need to use the SF editor. Okay, so let me copy all this from this angle. I copy this and with our block, the next line, let me paste this here. Now control plus period, let's see. So include this rich text editor. Now if we actually check here, we have our rich text editor. Okay, and we have our show character count. We want to show it. There's a placeholder. There's a bind value. So there's a bind value as model.publication. It's automatically going to save. Then auto save is going to be what? True. Then here it is a background color. You can change that. So mode switcher. Then you can set font color to default one as what? 2. default one for the font style is Georgia. And as you can see, there's the tools. So the tools that you saw when doing the introduction, the command lines or the ribbons, that's the tools. You're going to implement that soon. And here is an image. So there's a rich text editor, the quick toolbar image. We're going to add image settings too. And here there's an audio, and we have video. So if you are planning of adding audio and video too, you can make this work over here. So these are all tools that you're going to add soon. Okay, and there's also a style that you're going to add soon as well. We have a validation message as publication because you want this to be required. You can't send a block whereby the publication is empty. No, it's not going to work. So we're going to do this. We are going to copy this to make a reference. Then here on top here, you're going to create SF text editor. Then let's copy this and paste it. So that is this one. Now the next one that you want to do here, that is the tools. Okay, let's see if you can actually have the tools in here. First one is the tools, the command tools. Now if I open this, the command tools are already here. So we just have to, when you go to the documentation for SF text, that is Syncfusion text rich text editor, you're going to see these tools over there. So I'm going to leave this link. The source code of this is going to be available as well. So you can just go in there and grab them from the GitHub link that I will leave in the description and copy all these tools. These tools comprise of all the other ribbons that you need in order to format the page. So let's go to our page. Now here, so I'll just make it as F text editor. So text editor tools. So paste this here. And now this will comprise of all the various tools, ribbons that we need: bold, italic, underline, swipe through, font name, font size, separator, and etc. up to what? Insert code. So this is a lot. Okay. Now there's the tools here. So we're going to use that as a toolbar item, and we're going to use that here. The next one here is the image. If you want to add image, is it possible? Yes, it is. That is what we are going to use here, adding of image. So we go back to the same page. Now we have an image here. There's a link, and you have image. Okay, so there's a video. Let's see if we can have an image. There's an image. So we're going to copy this for image. And with this, we can now minimize this. The next one, let's expand this, is for the image. So image, you want to set the replace, alignment, caption. You want to, these are the all features that you're going to see with the image, and that is the image element here, and we use that in this image. The next one is a link. If you want to add a link, how are you going to do it? And that is a link here. So let's say there's a link. This is a style item, and toolbar item, a video, audio, and there's a link. So with this link, what can we do with it? Let's minimize this, and here we can say that it is link in SF rich text editor. So there's a link. Now you want to open link, you want to edit and unlink it. Very simple. Now this is also gone. This link is gone. Now you can see we have table quick toolbar. If you want to add table, that is a toolbar that you want to add, a quick one. So let's say table quick toolbar. Let's grab this. Let's paste this here. And table quick toolbar, you can set table header, table row, column, cell, separator. You can remove table, you can add table background color, and we can set the alignment and the style. Now table 2, it is off now. So we have audio, video, and style item left. Let's see the next one. Audio, video. So this is the audio and video. Let's grab all this audio and video. So these are the two that we can use against the audio and the videos. Let's minimize this, and now here we're going to add audio and video. So audio, you can remove audio, we can replace audio, you can set the layout. The same thing applies to the video. Replace, remove, layout options, and the alignment. So two bars, we can actually implement them here. Okay, let's close this gap. Now the next one left here is the last one, and that's the alignment. If you check, that's the only one left, style items. So let's see with the style items, and this is the style items. So we can set the alternate rows. So all these are inbuilt, they are made by Syncfusion already, so we need not to add anything. Just go in there, check the documentation, and you can grab them. You can decide to take out some of them if you wish to. Yeah, so we save this. Okay, now our page is now set. Let's see. So blog item. All right, now let's run the application and see what we have now. So when it's load, going back to blog. So blog, and let's see what we're going to have now. Okay, so we have all these, and it looks nasty, right? Because we haven't added the JavaScript file and also the CSS class. So let's add them. Okay, so let's see, we can now grab the links, that is the script and the bootstrap reference for the Syncfusion here. So let's go to our project and Solution Explorer. With our client project, our static files, where we have the index.html, we paste this here, the next line. So we have our content Syncfusion.blazor.themes, then bootstrap5.css. And for the script, you see we have blazor.core scripts, we have Syncfusion blazor.min.js, and the same thing applies to this. This is for document editor. Let's save this also and see what we have here. If you're going to render, then we're going to see all the components or the ribbons displayed. Okay, so you can see we have a nice and beautiful one, as you can see from here. So now you can decide to apply any of these. So let's see bold, then you can just highlight this bold, and it's going to affect to it. You can also set this to paragraph and heading 1, heading 2, you pass in heading 2, and you can see it is done. So that is it. You can also accept, you can see from here, link and image, and let's table. So you can create table here, as you can see from this, a table. You can create a table from this angle. You can also insert image over here from this. I can also insert image from this. Okay, all right, so we have this. Now we have a title, we have a publication. The next thing that we can do here is the next thing. Let's see. Now let's go to add blog. Let's go up. So once we have our rich text editor, we go in for the checkbox, and here we can use the SF checkbox as well, and the source. You can bind checkbox and source. You can create a row and now set the column. This is MD2, this is MD2, so making 4, and that's in a row form. And also this is the tag, so the tag, can skip the tag for now. So let's copy this. And now let's go to the blog component. So there is a open and that is a close here. Now here you can paste this, and now there's a row, so we can close the row. Now let's divide this into 2. So here going to be 6, then here 2 is 6. Okay, now model dot, so this is public. Now it is bind to, so let's see, now you can see we have a model that is for this edit form. Let's see, so model dot is public. We have our model over here, and the bind checked is model dot, let's see, so this model title and it's public. Now let's check with the news. Do you have it's public? Yeah, so that's a bool, it's public. Let's copy this and see. Okay, now we have this. Let's see what we can do next. Now this is the tags, and let's keep the tag for now. And here we need to use our writer and the category. So we have a script, so there's a row, and you're going for, let's see, so we have a row over here, and there's column MD4, so making 8. Now with the 8, you can see we have another one making 12. Okay, so let's grab this and grab this, and here the next line, what we can do here, Control plus K and D, we can rearrange it well. So that is our row here, and at the end we can now paste this. Now here we are using an SF drop down list, Control plus period. Let's use this drop down from the Syncfusion. This is a component from the Syncfusion, and we want to display the drop down list. So for now, there's a test. We can actually clear this for now. Let's clear this. Now the test that you want to display to this is what? Select writer and select category. So this is a category model. We haven't created that model yet, but we're going to do it soon. And this is, so this is a test. So select what? Category. So this is select category, and that is select what? Writer. So this is a writer model. So we can now, let's clear this data off. Okay, so let's clear this data off, and that's going to be writer, and this is going to be category. That is a method here. So when the value change, and here to when the value change, what should happen? We want to call this method. So the methods are here. Let's see if we can actually grab those methods from this file. Okay, so we want to use these two methods for the drop downs. So let's go down here, and here let's paste the methods here. So these are the method. Now on value change for category, and here that's on value change for writer. Then that is the model. So here it's coming with a change event argument, and now here you want to use the category and the writer here. So there's going to be, you're going to create a relationship between the news and the writer model, and with the category ID we convert the value here. So let's create the model for this. In order to skip all this, so you need to create category and writer, right? So let's copy category here. So let's go to Solution Explorer. Now models, right click on the models, let's add new class or news model, and this is going to be writer. So with this writer we want to use, so this is public, and now we need ID. So there's going to be an ID. We need name. So that is name here, and there's going to be string. Also this must be, we need to create the relationship here. And the relationship that you want to create here, it is one to many. One writer can write many blocks. So this is relationship, and it is one to many. One writer, many blocks. So with this, there's gonna be list of news, and that's gonna be, you can set this to now, and here we set it as news. So we do the same thing to the other one as well. So let's control period, let's remove unnecessary usings. Okay, we save this. Let's do the same thing to category 2 and see. So right click on this, we go back to add new class or model, and the name is category. Okay, so let's see now with the block. Now with this public, let's add a button. So let's go to the import.razor, and now let's add buttons here. So using syncfusion.blazor.buttons, let's add that to get rid of that, because here we are using a checkbox from the syncfusion component. Okay, now let's go there and create our category. So let's copy the writer, and we want the same thing under the category too. So category, we set here as public. Then we can now remove all usings from here. We save this. So when you go to block.razor, we can now use this category. So we can just take this out, then control plus period. Now you can see category has been added. Let's wait and see. Yeah, it is added. And now this also writer. So let's take out the model. We have writer, and now let's take out this also. And here we need to create an object out of this. So we go back to this, and here let's copy this. You can paste this and paste that. Now this is writer, and this is category. So it's got to new, or you can decide to take this off. This is a new one that we can use. Go to new, or you go to new. Okay, so this is writer, and this is category. Equals to new. Okay, so now we have the sets. Okay, but you know, with the writer here, it is a list. So let's see, this is a list. Go, that's the data source. It must be a list. Okay, so let's create a list out of this writer. So this is writer, list of writer, and it's going to be writers. And this is list of category, going to be categories. So there's a list. Yes, so it is done now. Now let's see. So data source, this is writers. Okay, data source writers, and here this is categories. There's categories. Now if you actually check here, that's a placeholder. That's a placeholder. We want to display the select category and select writer. Now we need to add category ID and writer ID under the news. So let's go to the news here, and we also need to do the same thing here as well, and that's going to be, so this is category, and that is category here. And this is category ID. So that's the relationship that we are creating, you know. So here each news must have a category that can be found. Let's copy the same object here, property, and now let's paste this and change it to writer. So this writer, and it is writer. and this is writer ID. Writer ID. Okay, so we save this. Now when you come back here, you can see it is now solved now. So writer ID, it is solved, and here it is an image. So if you check here, there's an image. It's an input file, and it's an image. Okay, so let's see. Now it is public. Model dot. Okay, it's public. Now let's see here, and file change. So that's an image. When file change, what should happen? Okay, and we want to use title image. So let's see, do we have title image in the news model? Yeah, we have title image here. So let's go in there and see. Now when image is chosen, we want to convert it into base64 string. So that's exactly what we are doing here. Convert it to base64 string, and this is going to make it work. So let's copy this, and now in the block.razor down here, that is upload image to base64 string, 64 string. Then you can paste this. Okay, so here just making a check to see if it is JPG or PNG, etc. But here you can decide to take this off, but let's maintain it for now. That's when on file change occurred, you want to check the file name and if it contains this and etc. Okay, so it is what we want to use. Then if it contains any of this PNG, JPG or JPG, then we want to perform this operation. So this, we are converting the image into base64 string here. Then we set the title to this. Okay, so here we can display the base64 string of that image to the console. So let's uncheck this. Then we can now save this and see when we select an image what's going to happen. Now there's an image message, so there's an upload message, so we can set a string here as an upload message. So let's set this equal to new. Then let's say string. You can go for upload message, so it's equal to string.empty. Okay, so yeah, okay, so that is what we have now. So do you have any errors in it again? Let's see. So control period K and D. Okay, so let's take off one of these and see what we have now. Now this must be, let's see, so the edit form, this must come after this. Control K and period. Okay, so let's see. Alright, now it is okay. Let's save this, and now let's run this application and see what we have now for the input or writing a block. Okay, so let's see. Run this. Alright, so this is what we have now. We have an image, so add title image and news. Now here we are going to select, but currently we have nothing in here. The same thing applies to record, nothing here. And if it's a public, so you can uncheck this, and that's the source. You can decide to add a source, then add a message to the title. Now what we have here, you need a button to click. Okay, so let's add a button. So we are done with the add block. So with the button, let's see what we can do. You can now grab these as buttons. These are buttons, so you can now grab these. Okay, Now here we want to display the image as soon as the person saw the image, so we want to display it, and we bring, so let's see, let's copy this. Now let's go to our page, then where we have our edit form last end, so that is this row. At the end of this, we can now paste our own as well. Control K and D. Let's reformat this. And here we are using an image tag, and we set the source to this title image. As soon as I select image from this component, it gets displayed here. So here, update and delete. We're not using that for now, so let's skip this. Let's take this off. We'll talk about this later on when we get to the update section. Okay, Control K and D, format it well. So you can see we have add news, and you can see you have reset. Now this type is reset, and this is submit. Let's save this, and you can see we have an icon plus, and this was circle X. So we save that, and let's see. Alright, so we have the add button, and here it is an outline. Okay, so reset, it reset the whole thing here, and there's an add, it adds everything. So you can see we have the title is required publication and image is required. So we have this, and that. Now we set this as optional, so that's why I couldn't. Now category and writer, you want to implement that too, and we have image is also required. Now if we decide to choose an image, let's see what happens here. Let's use an image here and see what happens. So now let's launch it again. Alright, so let's use an image from this angle, and I choose this, and as you can see from here, I have the image displayed here. Okay, if I right click on this and go to inspect element, I'm going to see the base64 string of this image. And that's exactly what I can see from this angle. So this is the base64 of an image. The type is PNG file, and it's base64. That is the string. Okay. So it means it seems like we are almost done to this blog here, and maybe we can add a little icon here to it. Okay, we can add a little icon over here, and let's see what we can use to add the icon. In this on top here, I have an icon displayed. We can actually copy that, and where is it? It's actually found here, and we can copy this from that angle. Yeah, we can copy this, and here we're using okay, so we are using font awesome, and currently I'm using font awesome, so we can use that, but for now let's maintain what we have here. Okay, so you can see that we have this done. The next thing to do here is, how do you click on add news, and it sends all this to database. We've installed the SQLite. How do you configure that? How do you perform migration? How do you create your connection file and add all these as well? Let's talk about that in the next video. Okay, so we can add these, we can pass data here, and it gets sent to a database with the SQLite. Thank you for watching. I think let's go for a break for a short while. When we return, we're gonna move on to creating the folder in the server and creating our repositories and a whole lot of things, performing migration and etc. Thank you, and I'm going to catch you up in the next video. Hello guys, welcome back to the next lesson. So this lesson, we are done with the client side for the creating and adding of block. Now let's go to the server side and add the code whereby you can accept the input coming in and store inside the SQL database for us, and that's the SQLite. So this time around, we're going to work in the server project, not the client anymore. So we go to the server project under the Solution Explorer. Let's hide the client project and expand the server project. So the first thing that we need to do here is let's create a folder and name it as data. That's we're going to keep our connection. So a folder here, and it is data. Let's create a class known as the AppDB context. That's a connection name. You can change it to any name that you want. AppDB context. And now this context must inherit from DB context class. So, and this is using Microsoft.ng framework core. Now you have to create a constructor and pass in the class that you just created. So we generate a constructor here, and now you pass in the AppDB context class. Then we are done with the constructor. So the next thing that we can do here is we are going to create news here. So let's create a prop that is there, and here is a db sets, and here refresh news, and that is what that is a news. When you create a table, so control plus period, let's include that. And the next one, that is a category, so db set, and this is category, and the name here is categories table. Let's copy this one, so, and now let's paste it. Remember that we have 3 tables, and this is writer, and it's going to be writers. Okay, so we have this set already. Now what we can do here is we have to register this connection in the program.cs file. So here, let's add this connection, and we're going to make it as builder.services.add db context, and this db context we pass in this AppDB context class. Now let's say it's over here. Let's make a copy out of this, and let's see. So first of all, this is what we have to do. Let's create a connection here. Let's copy this connection. Let's do that in the app-setting.json file first. That's where we specify the name of our connection or database file as an SQLite. So here we can paste this. The name is default connection, and data source is what, that's the news SQLite.db. We have comma separated, and that's. Now that we are done with this, we can go ahead and save it, and we go to the program.cs file. We can now grab this. We go back to the program.cs file, and here we can now paste this here. And remember that we are using an SQLite, and the name of the connection that we set in the app-setting.json here is known as default connection, and that is exactly why we are getting it here. We save that. Okay, so what left here is to perform database migration. So first of all, let's build the project first. Let's build the entire project, build solution. Let's wait for it to be built. Then we know what we can do. So as we have done, let's try it one more. Let's right click and let's go to rebuild again. So we are waiting while it gets built. So when it is done, then we are going to perform database migration to create the tables inside the AppDB or the SQLite for us. Okay. Now with while the migration is performed, then it's going to create the SQLite DB. So here we're not using an SQL server, rather you're using an SQLite, because this is a block and it's a small website, so we don't need to use a complex SQL server, but we can use the SQLite. Now it is done. Let's launch package manager console. So it is initializing the power host. Now it is ready. We can now clear screen. So we're going to add DB contests. So that's the add migration. As you can see, the server is selected already. So migration, the name is initials. This is -o means output. put in your data folder, create a folder called migrations, and save everything there. So let's see. Now whilst it has been processed, what you can do here is we need to install this. So DB browser, we need to install this application, DB browser for SQLite. That's what we're going to use to access our database. Okay, so go to the internet, Google, and type in DB browser for SQLite, and you can get this software. It's free and you can download it. That's what we're going to use to access the SQLite database that's going to be created. Now when we are done, so there's a software DB. Let me close this. Yep. And yeah, so that is software DB browser for SQLite. Download this software here. It is free of charge. And when we are done with everything, you can see we're going to create the file here. Now you can see migration folder has been created, and that's the migration file here. Now the one thing left here is the update database. Now when you update the database, it's going to create the database name as newsdb.sqlite. Now that's the migration file. Because we have categories table, writer table, and we have news table, the various columns as well. So these are the various columns, and as you can see from here, is that the same thing as well. Okay, now let's say now in this we're going to perform update database. Let's update it, and let's say you're going to create a database. That's the SQLite database here. So it's going to be, you can see it has been created here, and that is a news.sqlite.db. Okay, now let's say if it is done, we go to the output or patch manager console, and it is done. Okay, so now let's click on this, open database, and now let's navigate to the page. So let's go to this computer, and we go to local disk C, and we go to, that is a folder demo for YouTube. Okay, so we go to the server project, and that's a database, SQLite database. Then we can now open it here. So there you can see we have categories, we have news, we have writer. Currently it is empty. As you can see, category is empty, news is empty, and writer is also empty. Okay, so this is what we're going to do first. Let's pass in the sample category and writer, and see what's going to happen here. So here the writer here I'm going to use as this Netcode-Hub. That's the first writer. So click on this new. Now I'm going to pass in, so that's the Netcode-Hub. That's the first one. You're going to have, you can have Frederick Hughes. Second one you can have so you can have this. These are our writers. Let's maintain this 3. So you can now write to changes. And now when you go to the categories too, we're going to add the same thing as well, and add new. So the first one going to be maybe, let's say health. You can say, let's say this lifestyle, and this is going to be technology. So let's write changes, and that's all. So you can see we have all this. Now left with the news. Now this is what you're going to do. So once you are done with the database, now it is ready. What we have to do here is to create our services. So let's see. Now let's close this. Let's close the program.cs. Let's close this app settings. And now with the solution explorer, now let's say with the server, let's create a folder and name it as repo service. So this is going to be repositories. Now with this repositories, we're going to create a folder in it again, and that's going to be news. So news repos. Okay, so with this news we need interface. We need interface and we need implementation. So iNews, we can say iNews repo, and we're going to create a class, and right click and create, add a new class, and now this is going to be news repo. So this is going to inherit from iNews repo. Okay, now in here you want to add, so this is what we're going to do. So public, let's say it's manage block, because this is going to be add or delete. Okay, or we can set it as, so here let's see, let's set as task. Now this task is going to be, let's take off this first, and with this we're going to set this as add or delete news. Now this coming in with what? With news, and it is coming with model. So news, and it is coming in with models. Okay, so this is add. Okay, or here we can also set status. We can set status here, and now with this status, let's set this. Let's create a model for this. So we go to our model, a share project. Then in our models, you're not going to put in our models. Let's add it to our project here. Add new class, and it's going to be status. Now with this status, you're going to make it as public also. And here we need bool, and it is success, and the next one is string, and it is message. Okay, so this is what we want for now. We can now clear all these because we don't need them. Let's save this, and now when you go to the iNews repo, we have status, control plus period. Let's use the shared or the project that we just created. Okay, now let's go to the implementation, control plus period. Let's implement the interface and also generate constructor. So generate constructor first, control plus period, implement interface. So this constructor, this is what we're going to do. We're going to pass in app.db context, and the name is db context, control plus period. Let's create and assign field here. So if we have initialized it and it is ready to be used, and in here let's clear this. So we can first check if model is not equal to now. That's what we want to do. So you want to create, so var status, okay, equal to new status. Then this is what we want to do. If this is equal to now, then we can say status dot success is equal to false, and status dot message is equal to object is empty, so news object is empty. Yeah, then we want to return, so return status. Very simple thing that you want to do. But in case it is not, okay, if it is not, then this is what you want to do. So return status. Let's see. So it is returning a status here, and now this is what it is asking. So cannot implicitly convert type status to status. Okay, so let's check again and see what we need to do. So this must be an async, yeah, to get this rid of. Okay, so if it is not now, then this is what we want to do. You first have to check if the title is found already. So we can say var check existence is equal to, then we can call for await app.db context dot news dot where. So this where dot where n, that's the news max to n dot title dot to lower title dot to lower dot, you want to replace all space with dash, and also dot replace again. Let's replace all question marks with the same dash. Okay, so when it has converted this title dot equal to, let's check, is equal to the model coming in dot title coming in dot to lower, so dot to, so model dot title coming in dot to lower, so dot replace all space by dash, then dot replace again all question marks, replace by dash. Okay, then we can now go for dot first or default async. So this is what I want us to do. It is very long, so let's put it in separated to look very nice and readable too. So dot where, we're going to set this dot where title dot lower dot replace dot equal to, okay, dot first or default. Okay, now it's going to set. So after setting, this is a result. Now if check x is not equal to null, meaning it is found, it is stored already, then we can actually go grab this and we can say it is false, news added already, or news already added, return. If not, then this is what you're going to do. You can now say news added successfully, news added successfully, and now this is going to be true status. And now here we're going to now check. So we're going to say that appdb context dot news dot add. So we are adding the now coming in as a model. Then after adding, we appdb, we have to save changes. So appdb context dot save changes async. Then very simple thing. Okay, so this is going to save all the data here into the database. So that's the SQLite database. Okay, so now we are done with this. Let's see what we can do. We can now create our controller. So let's create our controller here to render these services. The name was add or delete news. So let's save this. Let's go to the controllers folder, right click on this controller, and now add new controller. And now this new controller, you're going to name the name as new API empty1 and news controller. So let's set this as news controller. Okay, so in here we have to create a constructor, control plus period. Now generate constructor here, and now let's inject this. So that's going to be news, and that's the iNews repo, and create control plus period. Let's create an assigned field. Create an assigned field as this. So it is now ready to be used. Now the first one is post, so that's the HTTP post. Okay, so this post we can set this as add. Now this add, let's set public, and this is task, but let's set as async task, and this task must be an action result, and this must come to a status because we want to return a status, and that is add or delete. It is coming in with news, and the object is model. You open it, and this is what we are doing first. We want to also check over here. So if model is equal to null, then return bad request. So return bad request. Okay, and we can say news model is empty. But if it is not, then return okay. You can set for await, then news repo dot add or delete, then you pass in this model. Very simple thing that we want to do. So return okay, and here control plus period, let's use this to get the status. Okay, so we are done with this. Now what we can do here is we need to create our services in a client project to render this. Now let's see what we can actually do here. So let's go to the client project, and this client project, let's create a service folder. So right click on this client project, and now click on add, and now there's going to be services. So this services, right click on this, and now let's click on that folder, and this is news services, and let's create an interface here. So add interface, and that's going to be iNews services. So iNews service, and you need to create an implementation class also. So that's a class here, and this is going to be news service. So this iNews service is going to be inherited by the new service. So let's implement this as well here. And now you can now go to the news repo and now grab this task. Let's come to the iNews service, and now let's paste this here. Let's go to the new service. Now control plus period, let's implement the interface, and now here control plus period, let's create constructor. Now this constructor, you need to implement HTTP context class. So that's what we're going to use to pass this message to the header of an HTTP. To control plus period, create and assign this field. Let's close this gap. Then you can actually implement this. So here you're going to use var results is equal to, so this is an await HTTP client dot post as JSON async. Then we can now pass in the URL, that's an API /news/add. Then the object is for this model. Now in order to read this response, we can create var response is equal to await results dot content dot read from JSON async. So you pass in this status, then you close this, and you're good to go. When you are done, let's return this response. Very simple thing that you want to do. Okay, so we are done with this. Now let's go to the blog component. Now where is the blog component? It's over here. Let's search for that, blog.razor. And now in here, when this button is clicked, what do you want to do? Let's inject the service first. So we inject iNews service, then you create a new service, and now let's use this control plus period. Let's use this. Then you can actually, or what you can do here is you can cut all these. Let's cut all these using, and now let's go to the import and import them there. So that is the import. Let's paste them here. Let's save them. Now let's come back here. So iNews, that's a new service. Can copy this, and now when we come back to so iNews service, and let's see. Okay, so when you come here, you can now implement await, or you can create var result is equal to await new service dot add or delete news. Then you can pass in this model. So you pass in this model. Okay, so that is this model that we are passing in this model. And remember that this model here it is accumulating all the data from here: writer ID, we have title, image, we have an etc. This is an image and etc. Okay, but what we can do here is, first we have to populate the categories, because we haven't done the categories yet. That's why. So let's see, let's talk about that in the next video, how to create categories and how to create the writer, repo, and the services as well. Alright, I think this is clear, so thank you. Let's go for break. When we return, we're going to move on to the categories and the writers data. Alright guys, so welcome back to the next video, and that's going to be a lesson 6. We're going to talk about creating the category and the writer repository and the services to render the category and the services in the blog add-in. So let's start. We have to create a repository in the server project for the category. So in here, we have our server project. In our repository folder, we're going to add another one, and that's going to be a category. So next, new folder. So category, repos, so let's add an interface here. So this is going to be I category repo, and that's an interface, and we need an implementation. So let's add a class here, and that's going to be category repo. So this must inherit from I category repo. So we're going to create a constructor here. Yeah, and when you go to this, there is task, and this is list of category, and you call it as get. Okay, so get control plus. So we want to get all categories from the database. Control plus that, using these models, and we have this. Okay, and also this is what we can do. And the next thing that we want to do here is, let's go to the implementation here, control plus period. Let's implement that. Control plus period, implement the interface. And now in here, let's implement the appdb context. So appdb context control period. Now implement assign fields here. So in here, this is what we are doing. So var results is equal to await appdb context dot, and this is for categories. So get categories dot to list async. So we get all lists of category, and here we return results. Yeah, let's return results here. We are done with this. Let's do the same thing to the writer. So writer repo, let's create another one here, folder, and let's name this as writer repos. And now in this folder, we need an iWriter category. So add interface, and it's gonna be iWriter repo. Let's create an implementation class. So add class, and it's going to be writer repo. Let's inherit this from the iWriter repo. Control plus period. Let's generate a constructor for this. And with the iWrapper repo, this is what we want to do. We want to get the task, and there's going to be a list as writer. So there's going to be a list. And this also gets. So control plus period, can use this. Now let's go to the writer repo, and here let's inject the appdb context. So appdb context, and we call db context control plus period. Let's create an assigned field here. Can clear this space, and now in here let's implement the interface. So let's say iWriter repo. So we have task, and you're getting a list of writers, and now here it is get. So let's save this writer repo. Now let's see what we have. Control plus period. So let's see control plus period. So we have injected this and the writers, and here task we have a list of writer, and it is get method. So let's see. So here must be an interface. So let's cut this. Maybe it's a wrong one that we did. So let's see. Now let's delete this. Let's see iWriter interface. This is an this repo. It's supposed to be an interface. So let's delete this. Yeah. Let's delete that. So we create an interface for this iWriter repo, because this is an interface. So let's do it again. Right click, add new item, and it's going to be an interface here, and it is iWriter repo. So in here you can now paste this. Yeah, and this working control plus period. Let's implement the interface here, and we can now go to the here and also grab the same source code here, and we can now paste this here. So let's do it. But instead of categories, here is going to be writers, then return it to the user by here setting as async. That is it. Save this. Now let's go in there and create a controller to render that. Okay, so in a controller, let's create add new controller, and this is an API empty one, and it is category controller. And now in here control we have period. Let's create a constructor. Let's inject I category repo, then implement this control plus period. We inject that, create an assigned field. Let's create a method here, and this is http get, and this is get. We can now go in for public async task, and that is a list of category. And this is get. So you return OK. Then you can go in for await category repo dot get. Yeah, so return OK, await category repo dot get method, control plus period. Let's implement or add the models. So we are done with the get method for the category. We do the same thing to the writer. Now let's see what we have here. Now it's saying that I cannot convert object results to collection.generic list. So this is a task list, and now this, what is this a list? Let's see. With a category. So this category list over here, you convert this to list, return this result. This is also a list of category. Then category controller is a task, is an action result. It's an action result out of this, yeah. So you can actually grab this here. Let's save this, and now let's create another controller for the writer. The API empty one, and this is writer controller. Let's create a constructor over here. So generate constructor, and now in here let's paste this. Now instead of writer, instead of category, this is going to be writer, and we're going to say writer repo.get, and we inject appdb context over here, control plus period. Oh, sorry, we have to inject, not appdb context, writer repo control plus period. Let's inject and assign that field. So we're also done with this. You save this, and we can now move on with that. So once you have this controller created, the next thing that we can do here is to render these services in the block component. Okay, so let's go to the server, and in here in the client project we have, let's create another one, that is the services, add new folder, and that's going to be category services, and this category services, we can also add new one interface here, and that's going to be iCategory service. So iCategory service, and we need to also add implementation. So let's add implementation as category service. Okay, so now we have this category repo. Now you can just grab this and go to the iCategory service. Then interface, we paste this here. Then we go to the interface here. Let's inherit this. So iCategory service. Then let's implement the interface, and also create constructor. And with this is what you want to do: HTTP client control plus period, create an assigned field, then let's set this as var results is equal to await HTTP client dot get from, so dot get as async. Then with this is an API slash news. So this category, so dot slash category, and so var response is equal to await results dot content dot get from JSON async. So we have this, and read from JSON async, and that's going to be a list of category. So we return response, and that is this. We can now save this, and here let's copy this. Now let's create an interface, the same thing for the writer. So services, add folder, and that is going to be writer services. Now this writer services, let's create an interface. So new item, interface, and writer service, writer service, and this is a task, and this is list of writer, and this is get. So list of writer, control plus period, we add that. Then we need to create an implementation. So writer service, add new implementation class, and we name this as writer service. Let's inherit from writer service. Control plus period, implement interface, control plus period, generate constructor, we pass in the HTTP client, control plus period, create an assign field. Then we can now grab this and paste this here. So instead of a category, this is writer, you can grab this, paste it here, and now paste it here. Return response, and that's all. So we have the these services. You can see we have the category, we have writer, and we have what, news. This category we have news, and we have what, writer. Okay, so let's see, that's a new service. And alright, so let's move this here into this new service folder. Okay, so yeah, moving. So let's move it in. Okay. Alright, so you see we have new service, and we have a new service. Then we have category, and we have writer. Now you have this service created, controller 2 created, and pi 3 also created. The next thing that we can do here, let's go to the block here. And on this block we have this writers already, so let's inject the following services. We have new service here already, so you can actually copy this and we can paste this 1 and 2. Now the first one here, it is not news, it is rather category. Then this is category. The next one here, it is writer. Then here is writer. Control plus period. Let's inject this 2, and let's inject writer as well. And the writer service, control plus period again. Let's also inject writer services. So you can save this, and you can cut 2 of these, close this gap, save, go to the import.razor, then we can import them here, so they can be used globally. Now we are done with that. We can now go ahead and use this writer and category service here. Remember that we've created a list of items here, so we can also grab this. We can use the page cycle method, and that is going to be typing the override, and it's an uninitialized async. So when the page initializes, okay, so now let's set this here. So writers and categories is equal to await category repo or category service dot get. And now here writer is equal to await writer service slash, and that is get method. So this is going to get us the writer and the category service. Okay, now and here this is an async. Let's save that. So when we are done, when this button is clicked, we want to test or send the results here. So let's set string message is equal to string.empty. Now let's create div class on top here. So you have a row column D12 and card. On top of this card, you want to have a div, and the class here is an alert. So alert, let's say this is warning. Okay, let's use that. And now here we have at message, you pass a message here. So let's save this, and we have this. So now let's run this application, we save everything, and now let's run this and see what we're going to have now. So once we wait, let's navigate to our news. Now you can see it is empty here, and now let's see. So let's wait. Now it is building, so let's wait for it to build, then we run it and see the output of it. Okay, so it is now ready. Now let's see. Now we're going to navigate to, that is a block. So let's go to the block. Okay, so we have error here. Let's try and see. So inspect element. Let's see exactly the problem. Let's see with this, with the console. Alright, so there are no registered services, so let's have to register these services. Now first of all, let's go to the server project and let's open it. Now program.cs file, we have to register these services here. So builder.services.add scope. Then the scope we want to add, the first one is iNews repo, and it's news repo. The next one is builder.services.add scope, and it is category repo, and it is category repo. The next one is builder.services.add scope, and this writer repo, and it is writer repo. So we are done with this. Now let's go to the client project. We also have to register the same thing as well under the program.cs file, and in here builder.services.add scope iNews service, and that is a news service. Let's also add the next one, builder.services.add scope category service, and that is category service. The last one is builder.services.add scope, and that is writer service, and that is a writer service. We save that. They're good to go. Let's wait for this to get refreshed. Then we see. Okay, so alright, now let's see what we can do here. Now if I click on category, see what happens, because I have the list here. If I click on right axis, I have the list over here, and let's try again and see. So I'm going to add the title here, and there's a new block updated. That's a new block just created. Now do something here. This is what you want to do. We just want to copy this, and here we paste this, and now here this is what you want to do. You just have to set this as bold. Then the next thing that you can do here, you can set this as a title. So let's say maybe you can just use this, set the color here, and you can choose any of these colors. Okay, now it's public, so the source here is quite simple, nothing. So no source here is going to be a research, and here category going to be a lifestyle, and let's say Simon, that is a writer. Now the image here, you can actually copy this again, Okay, so let's say with the image, let's choose an image here. For I'm going to choose this image. Okay, so the image is going to be displayed here. That's the image, and we've chosen technology and this for this. Now when you go to the blog here, while it's populating, you can see we have category. So this category ID. Okay, we get the ID of it, right? And you also get the writer ID for this. And when you go to database, that is an ID. When you go to category, you can see there is the ID. So 1, 2, 3. When you go to writer 2, that's the 1, 2, 3 for the writer. Now let's see. So once you have this, we can now go ahead and see. So let's click on add and see what happens here. So when the button is clicked, let's see. So nothing displayed here, but let's see. Right click. Let's go to inspect element. Let's see the network here. Let's click on this again. So add, and you can see it is done, and you can see news already added. Okay, so this news, it means that's added already, but you can see it didn't display the text here. So let's see the reason why it couldn't. Now when you go to handle this, okay, so we have to set this message is equal to results dot message. Yeah, so let's refresh this. But once you refresh, let's go to the news, and now let's refresh it and see. So you can see the news, it has been added here, and the style that we applied, you can see it is here. So that is the style. So we have color RGB 142170219, and text decoration, inherit, and this. You can see, so that is the style as an HTML style that we have. But with the URL, let's set the URL. So under adding, so that's the news repo. Now we go to the news repo, and here with the news repo, where we're going to add here, first of all, to add this, let's set model.url here is equal to model.title.lower over here. Okay, so and let's replace all this .lower.replace all this. So we want to set the title through this. Yes, so this is the title. Now let's wait. So let's go and delete this again and see what we're going to have. So write changes. and it is loading now. So let's save and see. Let's try that again. Okay. Now it is loading, so let's wait while the block loads. So if I click on add, because you have this field needed. Now I can write this, so test new block added. Now that is the list here. If I want to, so hello, welcome to my first block. And now with this, I'm going to set it as underline and italic. Now on top here, I want to use bold welcome, whereby this welcome is going to be a paragraph here, heading 1. Okay, so let's say this. Now choose resource. Let's see this as research over here for the source. Then writer, choose a writer, Frederick Hughes, and the lifestyle technology. Let's use an image title image. I want to use this for this, and now let's click on add to cart. You can see title image and field is required, so add to cart, and let's see what happens here. So you can see news added successfully. Right, now it is added. So when we go to this and now refresh, you can see we have this here. Now we click on this, we have the text here in HTML format. Now when you go to the URL, you can see we have replace it with what, dash as a space, and if you want to even have question mark, you want to replace it with this dash. Okay, so it means our add block is successfully done. What we have to do here again, the next one is how to display the block, how to display this block to the user, how to arrange it, and that's what we're going to talk about in the next video. Okay, so let's go for break, and when we return, we're going to talk about that. So we're going to create an index. We're going to use an index razor page. That's we're going to align or display the block in there. Hello guys, welcome back again to Netcode-Hub channel. So this video we're going to talk about how to display or render the whole or the entire list of news in a page. That is the index razor component. Now let's see what we have to do here. First we have to create our repository to get the whole list of news. So let's go to our server project first, and in the iNews repo here let's create so task, and there's going to be a list of news, and this is get, and that is get here. So list of news is get news. And now when we go to the controller, news controller, let's create another controller here, and that's going to be get. So this is http get, and now with this, there's going to be public async task, and there's action results, and that gives you a list of news, and that is get. Okay, so var we have a result is equal to, or this what we can do, await, or we can just simply set return. Okay, then await. Then we can use news repo dot get. Very simple thing that you want to do. Now let's go to the client section, and inside the news services, iNews service, you can also grab task, and that's a list of news, and that is get. Let's go to the news orientation, control plus period, and implement the interface. And now here we can use var result is equal to await http client dot get async, then here is API slash news, then var response is equal to await results dot content dot read from JSON async, and that's going to be a list of news, then return response. Okay, now let's go to the index component. So pages index component, and now let's clear everything here. So let's inject iNews, save it, and it's new save it. So here we're going to use div, and the class is equal to row. So div and class is going to be, can use CRUD. Maybe you can use div class, and that is a CRUD header. Now with this CRUD header, this is what we want to do first. So at if, let's get this here, then we're going to say that, so list of news, this must come here first. So it is list of news is equal to model is equal to new. Okay, now we are saying if model is equal to null, else. So meaning if model is not equal to null, that's where you want to display this. Okay, so here CRUD, and now with this we're going to loop through this. You want to set each with a CRUD, so let's grab this, and here is a div class, and this is column MD12, and we paste, we have at 4 each. So var item in model, then we paste this. So control plus KND. So here we have at item dot title, and that is it. And with this title, we can decide to have it at H2. You have title here, and we can set this as test primary. Also we have the div, and there is a class, and this is CRUD body. Okay, so that is CRUD body. Now with this CRUD body, you can close this. So now you have this control plus K and D arranged. Now in order to render the whole HTML markup, you have to use this markup string. Okay, and now you pass in the item.publication. So item.publication, you pass it as a markup string. You know, when you check the database, you see we have this markup, and that's the H1 and H1 strong and etc. So you need to pass that. Okay, so once you have this title, And let's see, maybe you can have we have our image here, okay, and maybe you can have a title image on top here. So on the card header, we can have, aside from the H2, you can have a title image. And once you have a title image, maybe you can decide to create a table. So table, so with this table you can have tr, and this you have first td, and you have another one, second one as also td. So this, we're going to have a title td over here, and this is going to be an image, and the source here is going to be at item.title image. Maybe you can decide to set this as a class as CRUD image top. You can set the style of this as width as maybe 150 pixels and height as 100 pixels, and border radius you can set this as 20 pixels as well. Okay, now when we are done, on top of this, the card body, we can set the image bigger here, or we can decide to leave that. So we have it, and now let's save this, and now let's run this application and see. So if you check this while it's refreshing, let's go through. So if you check here, we get the list, but here we haven't retrieved the list from the database. So let's do that. So let's use the page cycle method as initialized async, and here with initialized async we set model is equal to, so await, that's a new service. So the new service, let's see if we set on top here, that's a new service. So await new service dot get. Okay, now let's put this, let's set this as async, and we can put this in try and catch block, so when you have any issue it can handle that. So try and catch, and that's an exception, and yeah, so we have this set. Alright, now let's reload that and see. So you're going to loop through this model, set the various items here with the publications and etc. So let's see. Let's wait while it reloads. So we have an error here. Let's see, news report does not implement interface member iNewsReport.get. Let's check that and see. Okay, so control period implement interface. Okay, so here we have to get tags. So var results is equal to await appdb contest dot news dot toList async, then return results. Yeah, I think that is all. Okay, now let's see. Let's wait once it builds to check whether you have any error in, and make sure you do not have any error in yours as well. You can see mine is completed, succeeded, and everything's working well. Now let's see for it to get reloaded. Okay, so it's now reloading. Okay, so let's go quick. Now you have to navigate to not this block, rather you have to navigate to the home. This. Okay, so we have the block displayed here. We have the image over here. We have the block title, and that is the block message. As you can see, we have the block message here. The same thing applies to this. We have the image, and as you can see from here, there's an image, but we are not having that displayed. Okay, let's see. Let's go to block, and let's try to upload some image in it. Now there's a new block, so let's say there's a title, and now with this title, let's get control plus new. So lorem, let's have this sample text here. Then let's copy this and paste it here. Now while you paste, control plus or, you can decide to set the point to 14. Also you can decide to space this up, set this as title, then yep, so let's see what you can do here, and let's see if you can add an image. So let's add image. I want us to add this image. So click on the image here, and I'll go to, let's set the position as center. Okay, you can also add another image here, but this time around this image is going to be a bulletin. So let's set this as bullet. Let's set the same thing here as bullet, but this time around it's going to move to this side. Okay, all right, now that is it for now. Let's set a news writer. Let's use an image for it. Choose this image. Now let's add to, like you say, let's wait and see. Now news saved. Now let's refresh this. Okay, so you see now we have the image displayed, right? You have the image here, and we have the text being set up here, displayed as well. So there's our image. Now the next thing that you want to do here is, we don't want all of this to, all of the block to render the whole thing as well. So we want it to be one after the other, one after the another. Okay, so we have to apply pagination in this. So how do you apply pagination? And that's what we're going to talk about, let's say, in the next video. So for now, you see we're able to display the list of image here, the list of the news that we have, and next video talk about pagination in this news blog as well. So thank you guys for watching. See you in the next video. So you move on. Hello guys, welcome back to the lesson, that is lesson 8. Yeah, I think so, 8, yeah. And in this video we are going to talk about how to display one or single news at a page. You don't want to display multiple news at a page whereby user can have to read this and read that and read that. No, what you want to do here is you want to display one news at a page. As soon as the person finishes, you can just click on the next to read the next one, or click on any button at all to display or to read the next one as clicked on. That is what you want to do. And you know, SyncFishing provides us easy access to pagination, and that's what we're going to implement. Just the lines of code, and boom, you're done. So let's get started and see what you have to do first. So first of all, I have the code here. You have to go in there and try to grab that, and you need to use the SF pager, that is SyncFishing component. Let's see if that's going to be compatible to our page what you're working on for now. Now in a Blazor, not the blog, rather in an index.razor, down here we want to display that, so that is a row, and at the top, bottom of the row you want to display this here. Okay, so it is an SF pager, control plus period. Let's see what we have to do first to get this pager element or component. Alright, so let's go to the import.razor and add this using simfusion.blazor.navigations. Let's add this using statement. Okay, when we are done, we go back to index.razor and you can see it is colored, meaning it is activated now. Now this, let's copy this, and this is a page. So here we're going to make it as SF page, then it is page equal to new. Yeah, then all counts here, what is the count? You're going to make it as model, so let's copy this as model, paste it here, model. And when it is clicked, so the next thing that we have to do here is we are going to copy this on top here. That's what we're going to use to get a single page for us. So this code is going to work and get us that. So this is what we're going to do. Let's copy this, and on top here where you have this if method here, let's see, you can paste this here. Let's see what we can do. We can now paste this here, but let's grab only this. Let's delete the entire one, and here let's paste this. So let's use this list data. Let's loop through this, and here is going to be the model. So we're going to use the skip value and the tick value. Okay, so skip is, we want to skip 1 and take 1. So skip 1 and take 1. That's quite simple. We specify it ourselves. Skip 1 and take 1 for 1 each. Then we have to get a click here. So on the click, you want to navigate from on the skip and take the next of it. So we can use the skip here, and that is a method. Let's copy the method well, and you see this is a very simple thing to do, and we have the pagination done. So paste this. So we skip the current one and take the page size, that is 1, and that's a skip value. So skip value, let's paste that skip value here. So with this skip value and the tick value, let's copy this and put the tick value here. What we have to do again here is to specify the skip and the tick value. So let's copy this, and on top here let's specify the skip and the tick value here, and that's all. So tick value 1 and skip is 1, so we skip and take 1. So take 1 over here, and the page size is 1. Okay, number of candles you want to display here, it is 4. When the item is clicked, you want to perform that. So let's save this, run this application, and see what we can do or what we can have on our page. So you want to display a single news at a time. You don't want to display all. So that's what we are trying to do in this section. Let's see. So while it loads, we wait patiently for it. Then okay, so let's see. Alright, so as you can see from here, we have only one page here, and it's a single page, right? Now when they count down here, you can see we have page 1, 2 up to 4. We have number of pages is what? 3. If I click on 2, I move to the next page, I display it here. If I click on 3, I move to the third page, I display it over here. And if I click on, it's finished, right? We go back to the first page. It's not beautiful. Yes, it is, and very simple and easy to implement it as well. Okay, so for now, what is the next thing that you have to do? Categories and etc., right? So as you can see from here, we can decide to take off this this method. You can see that here we have the sidebar. We don't want to get the sidebar here, so let's go and get rid of the sidebar and this as well. Implement our own top bar as well. Okay, so let's see. Now let's go to Solution Explorer, And inside the client section, we have inside here, this is the client. You can see we have shared folder. Open the shared folder and the main layout folder. That is where we have this here. Now this main layout, let's get rid of this. So there is the sidebar. Let's get rid of the sidebar as well, so we can now comment this. That is the sidebar. Let's also comment this as well. Let's comment this. So here we can set this as container fluid. So this container okay, so this container fluid, let's put it inside this container fluid. Okay, now here where we have our navigation, so let's save this, and now when you run this or when you refresh this, this must get off and the top here must also get off. Let's see. Okay, so that's what we have now. As you can see from here, this is what we have. Now the next thing that we can do here is, let's go to the index here. On the index, this is row and there is column. So here you want to set column, this is column 6, or yeah, column 6. Now you're going to set here as div class. You can set here as column MD3, and we can set the last N2 as the same. So copy this, and at the bottom here we can also set column 3. Now let's save this and see. So it's going to shrink this in the middle. We're going to have it in the middle. Then we're going to have the sidebar there with empty one. So we're going to move all this in the middle, okay? Because you don't want our list display or information or our block to have covered the entire page. You want to be seated in the middle. That's exactly what we want to do. Yeah, so this is what we have now from this. And as you can see, the image here is too wide here for us. So as you can see from this angle, let's make it 8 and make here 2. So we can make here as 2, and now here must be 8, so we can get as 12. But let's see. So 8, you must actually have extra 2 in addition to this, whereby this we're going to be shifted to this, and we're going to have it in the middle. Okay, so you can see we have the whole page in the middle, right? So that's the whole page in the middle. Okay, so once you have this done, let's go ahead and let's implement the header. And as you can see, this is working perfectly. So let's go to the Solution Explorer. Now where you have the www folder, that's a static folder, click on the index, and now the Bootstrap class that we just added, if we downloaded, let's add this, the source. So we want to add the bootstrap.min.css. So let's drag this and now let's drop this here. So let's drag and drop that. Okay, now let's take off the old one. If you don't add a new one, at times when you have a drop down, it might not work. So that's why you need to add a new one. Okay, let's do the same thing to the JS, and you're going to use the bundle.js. You can also add that here where we have the Bootstrap. Yeah, and let's also use the bundle.js. Okay, so this is what we have now. We save that. Now let's see. So when you go to this Bootstrap site, let's see what we can do. Component, let's say, can you have a nav bar? Let's say this is what we have. Well, we don't want this. Let's get another one. Okay, so we have this too, and we want the one with search button. So nav bar, we have that with the list item. So we can grab this. So let's grab this. Now let's go to this component, and that is the nav component. So nav many components here, and that's what you want to do. Let's create, or we can, let's see, let's decide, let's create our own one. So shared, right click on shared, add new component, result component, and the name that's going to be, let's say it's a top bar. So top bar. So this is top bar and dot razor. So we're going to paste what we've copied. So let's wait to open that page for us. So let's paste this here. Okay. Now let's save this. And let's go in there and use this top bar in the layout here. So where we have this main, let's use this top bar. So top bar. So let's see. Now this has not been implemented yet. Don't worry, let's see again. So cut this, then let's save. Want us to delete this top bar again, and let's create a new one. So right click, let's add result component here, and we want to create a new one as top bar dot razor, and now here let's paste this and save that. Now when you go here, this must work. So let's see, now I have top bar, and so let's see. Now let's close this, and that's our top bar. We close it as well. Now let's open the main layout again. Okay, so our top bar is now working, and let's refresh our page. Okay, so let's see. So let's wait and see one. Okay, so you see we have our top bar here displayed. But as you can see, the top bar is here. No, we don't want to do that. So what we have to do here is, this is the main, and this top bar must be, yeah, so it's supposed to be here. So let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. Okay, now let's see. Yep, so you can see we have it on top here. Now it is on top. Okay, so the whole button here is on top. But as you can see, as soon as I decide to scroll down, you can see it goes up. So we can make it as static, and that's what we can do. So we go back to the scroll top bar, and that is our top bar. So we can make it as BG. Is it dark or light? You can make it BG dark, and let's see. So position, we can make it as sticky, and we can say sticky top. Yeah. Now let's see. So you have BG dark, and let's see, when you go to where you're gonna have our, let's see, we can have BG dark, and here it is navbar dark and BG is dark. So navbar dark and BG dark. Now when you check here, it's navbar light, so must be a navbar dark and BG dark as well. Okay, so you can see we have our search button, we have this over here, and we have the message as well. That's our news. Okay, now if I click on next, you see I have the next one displayed. I have the various images in as well. Yeah, so that is it. Now you see we have a beautiful work as well, it's indicated here, and yeah, that is it. Okay, now what you have to do next here is we want to have the list. So let's set the tags or the links in there. Now we have, instead of this link, we're gonna say that here is manage blog, or this is add blog. Yeah, so this is add blog, add blog. And let's see, so I'm going to have a button known as add block, and this may be a news, so we can decide to set up, use an icon there. Instead of this nav bar, you can use span and the class OI. Let's see, let's try to find an icon to use. So maybe we can decide to use the battery full icon, icon diaper infinity. Yeah, so let's say yeah, so we can use this, and maybe we can set this as font size as maybe 1. Yeah, big enough. And test warning. So let's see. Yeah, so we have an error here. Let's figure out the error. That's an A tag. Yeah, we must close that A tag as well. Save this, and again. Yeah, we still have error. So let's see the tag and close tag. Okay, tag is now closed. Okay, so let's see. Alright, so we have our symbol indicated here, beautifully done. And as you can see, we have an add block, and this is a drop down. Okay, so this drop down, we can actually use the category, we can display the categories over here. So let's do that quick. Now if I click on add block, it's going to navigate us to this add block. So the link here must be block. Yes, so that is block. So we're going to navigate us to the block method. Now let's display the category quick here. So here I'm going to inject the category first. So let's inject category service. Then I'm going to say category service. Let's copy this, and down here at code, then Ctrl+D. Then this is what we're going to do. So we're going to create a list of category. Then you say categories equal to new. Then override method when page loads. When page loads, use this async method. So override method to list of categories equal to new, and save top bar method. Close this, open it again, open this. Now down here, override, initialize async. So this is task, and this is protected. Override async. Okay, so here we're going to say categories is equal to, and we must set this as an async. So category is equal to await categories service dot get. Now with this, Control K and period. You can also apply it one more to close it up. Okay, now with this we can use try and catch error block. So let's see, so try, and now here we can use catch with an exception. Then you close it up. Okay, so we're going to loop through this category over here and display the output here. So that's why, because we have the list here. So here we're going to say at for each var item in categories, then display it one after the other with a list. I cut this. Then instead of this, we're going to display it at item dot URL. So this item dot, you have item dot name. Yeah, item dot name. Then the same thing applies to at item dot name as well. Okay, then we can now clear this off. We need only one to implement that. We save that, and we have the category. So this is what categories. Okay, now the next one is an update. If I want to update, what can I do? So let's say we have to display, so we have to create another one. Let's create controller here so we can update that. Okay, but for now, let's see if this is going to work successfully for us. But I think with the update, if we have the concept like this, you can now update it yourself, isn't it? So if I minimize it, as you can see, click on the drop down and you have all these items displayed here. And as you can see, I'll have this icon. Okay, that is an icon for my blog, and it opens, and that is a category. So health, lifestyle, technology. That, and as soon as I click on this add blog, I'm going to navigate to this where I can add blog, as you can see from here. Now I have the link, the categories, and everything indicated here. And I click on home, I have the home page, and my blog is now ready. So the next thing that we can do here is you can actually add a tree view of the categories or the subtopics in it and display them. But I think this video has given the concept of creating a blog. I think this is okay for now, and yeah. So let's see with the search method. We can implement search method. Maybe it's going to be another time, but let me know if you're interested in moving forward with this, whereby you can actually click on the category to get the data from the database whereby they relate to categories. Also, how to create a search button or how to search the whole news as well. Okay, and also how do you update it and how do you delete a news that has been uploaded already also to it. But for now, let me know what you think about it and what you want us to proceed on. But for now, I'll just leave it like this for you to have the basic understanding in this. I think this is okay, and it's going to actually help you a lot in your programming environment. Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. If you like what I'm doing, just give me a thumbs up for it, and you can also share, comment, and like it as well. See you guys in the next video. But if you have any issue as well, let me know. And as I said earlier on, I'm going to leave a link of this source code to under the description, so go in there and click on it and go there and download them. Also, I'll have a quick review version, and it won't take time as this. Okay, just a few minutes. I'm going to just summarize the whole project, and I'm going to leave the link also as well. So for those who have the basic knowledge in it, you can just watch that quick review version to have the whole idea. But if you want to start from scratch too, then I prefer you watch this. Thank you guys for watching, for spending the whole time being with me through this, and actually I'm grateful for that. So see you in the next video.